Man, oh man, buckle up for this one because this is a long video. So, I have just replaced my old elbow sleeves and wrist wraps. That's what you're seeing on screen right now. I used to have some Mueller elbow sleeves that I got years and years ago. And here are my old wrist wraps that were some Enzers that I had a Metrics logo ironed over when I was a sponsored athlete with Metrics. And you can see that the Velcro is totally worn out on those. So here is some footage of me opening up those Cerberus elbow sleeves that I just got and the Cerberus wrist wraps. I talked with the distributor, Ken Nowicki, and he was saying that these are probably the ones that I wanted. So the first thing that I noticed was the wrist wraps were labeled left and right. I thought that was kind of cool. I noticed that they're a little bit stiffer than I'm used to, but it's been a while since I had new wrist wraps, so I think that breaking these in is going to make it slightly more comfortable for me. And then I switched over to messing around with the elbow sleeves and found that even though they were the XXL or 3XL, I think they were 2XL though, I found it kind of hard to just slip it on. So I wound up unrolling the elbow sleeve, putting it inside out and then pulling it up my arm and rolling it up my arm once it got stuck on my forearm. But I do have rather large arms, so those were pretty nice to mess around with. After that, I got to some stretching, and then I wound up slapping those things back on as I went through my warm-ups. But the first thing that I did, I filmed a fair amount of additional footage in this beginning because I figured I'd just break down what I like to do for warm-ups and stretches a little bit. I do shoulder circles. I like to focus on making sure my shoulders can move really well. I think it's also important to make sure my hips and legs and just everything is nice and limber. And so I do shoulder circles. I do the kind of back slaps and like over-under arm stretches, and then I do a little bit of hamstring, a little bit of glutes, a little bit of glute min and glute med activation with some kind of modified airplane is what you could call it. I also like to do a little bit of overhead pressing, and mostly I make sure that I can overhead squat because that really is the test for me to make sure that my shoulders are limber enough and open enough to receive a bar overhead. And something that I have been meaning to work on, and so I just decided to do it, is my rack position. And the first thing that I wanted to do while working on this is really beat up my triceps a little bit, because I think that my triceps and my shoulders and my lats have all become a little bit heavier or a little bit tighter with my heavier training recently. And this whole experience has been good, but it has been on an accelerated timeline. I really was not ready to make an attempt at the world record this early. I was given about 9 weeks of proper notice, and that's very short notice to be attempting a world record. And so, but I don't know. I'm not a very superstitious person, but I thought it was very interesting that I was given a short notice on this, and then I was also given a short notice in 2015 when I finally got a proper invitation to Worlds. So I felt that, I was like, oh man, this is fitting. I'm going to have matching stories. This is going to be sweet. So the least I could do is try, is how I feel about it. So rolled out the triceps and the forearms a little bit, and then I did a little bit of rolling on the foam roller and did a little bit of hip stretching, some glute stretching, doing some heavy breathing. I like to breathe into my stomach and into my obliques when I do these stretches. Some upward dog, downward dog, a little bit of squat position. And then this is a stretch right here that I don't think I've really shown on my channel before, but it's one that I like to do occasionally for rack position improvement. And so I set up a squat bar. I really should have moved the rack down one more setting, and I grab a second bar, and then what I like to do is I like to try to rack it, and then I put my elbows on the bar that is racked, and this utilizes the weight of the barbell to stretch my body into position. And you can actually, if you're not mobile enough, you can really make yourself miserable here. But it does seem to improve that rack position. It does seem to help. And sometimes I'll put one elbow up there and try to stretch one at a time. Most of the time I try to keep it to two. Because if you're just stretching one, you can stretch asymmetrically, and then you don't actually improve your position very much, which is unfortunate because you're taking the time to try to do that, and so you want that to be effective because you only get so much time. So anyway, working on some overhead positioning, a little bit of tempo. I put that away and start the workout. So here we are with a little bit of 190-pound clean and press, really trying to focus on a little bit of strict work, a little bit of push pressing, and then I think I did a little bit of a jerk. Yeah. I'm trying to get myself lower. The jerks from this day were just so ugly. I was very displeased. I wish I had nicer things to say about my own lifting, but towards the end of this day, you are going to see some of the ugliest jerks that I have posted. And while I'm excited that I was able to complete those lifts, I am appalled at the quality of lift because I think it is just so high. I need to improve that technique. If I could improve my technique, my axle jerk, I feel very confident it would be in the mid 400s. So, and that's where it's at like right now. Anyway, moving on. Shifted some weight up, went up to 240. Really got a couple good drives in. Again, forward on that split jerk. You can see me chasing the bar. That was a little bit better. Still rather forward. You can see that I'm frustrated with that. I was clearly frustrated with my technique, and I wanted to work on some drills for a little bit before I moved up, because I really thought to myself, man, if these jerks do not improve from a technical standpoint, I am not going to be making 390 today. And so here we have 290. A push jerk. I have not done one of those in a while. You can see how awkward it was for me. The split jerk was better. I actually racked the bar very shortly here. I'm not sure if it was that rep or this rep. Oh, I think it was this rep. So as I cleaned the bar up, I hit my collarbone so hard that it kind of dinged me into just doing a push press. And then I did a really high split jerk. I'm pretty sure I walk it straight in. Yeah. And I didn't show the film, but my collarbone was really twanged. Like, it was not doing okay. My whole arm hurt after receiving the bar. And you can see it cut right there. I didn't film, or I did film the 360, but I didn't post it due to video limit, essentially. And here's 390. So there's a 55, a 45, a 45, and a 35 on the bar. Oh, with the 2.5 on the inside, making it a 35 or a 30-pound bar. Anyway, with 390, I did a triple, a single, and then another triple. And I was really not pleased with any of these from a technical standpoint. They're all rather forward. I don't like how I'm receiving that bar. I do think that this was a funny observation I'll comment on in just a sec. But I think it might be the orthotics in my shoes that are kind of pushing me forward. But I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, the reason that I filmed that observation, the funny observation with the axle, when I was younger, people would ask me when I would stop trying to be stronger, and I always told them when I could take the plates off of one side of the bar and the bar would stand up stiff. And I told them that that's when I would stop trying to be stronger, but I'm going to have to keep going just a little longer. But I always thought that that was never going to happen. It's funny. It's some of the things you remember. Anyway, 255 on the incline, a little bit of rear raise. I did not film my laterals or my tricep kickbacks. This video, I mean, like I had to stop adding videos because I reached the 20 video limit in the software. So that's what limited this video. Anyway, if you're still listening, thank you for watching. It's been 10 minutes of me rambling. I hope you learned something. I hope you saw a couple exercises that you can utilize in your own training. And I will be making that world record attempt in South Carolina on April 22nd. That will be televised on ESPN. If you haven't checked them out already, go check out Basics of Strongman. There is a playlist on my channel. That is the basic intro to Strongman. If you haven't seen it already and you're already into Strongman, check out the Strongman Theory series. That is another playlist, and it's a series where I talk more of the technical aspect of competition of Strongman. So check both those out. I am running a little bit behind on those. Things are a little bit hectic in my life at this moment in time, but that's okay. We'll get it back on track. So anyway, thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.